let your eyes adjust for a second, opening this up. Awesome. Lights are coming on in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Awesome. I guess John. Awesome. All right, so we are going to, we're going to have lunch at 11 o'clock, so we're going to break. We want to give you guys some free time to talk, amongst talk to us, whatever you guys would like to do. We're going to have lunch, we're going to break bread here. Go ahead. You want to share?
Can I ask questions about this?
Yes, of course,
There's a point where it gets to like a frequency or something, and it starts emulating, just really hitting, intermitting or whatever. And I mean, man, it's cool. I would hire you to come to my house.
We're coming to VIP. We're going to do sound baths. They're called sound baths. It's just so like this one is your root chakra. This one is this is crown, and so they just hit different areas of your body with different vibrations. Like everything is frequency in the world. Everything is frequency and energy. That's why when you're static in the car, it makes you all so they're just these different.
I'm just starting to learn about frequency and stuff like that, and it's an eye-opener.
They're really relaxing too, so if you're like going through stress, you hold in your hand, if you got your heart chakra, you hold this one up to your heart, and you can feel it vibrate through your heart. So if anybody would, you guys are more than welcome to lift the bowls if you want to. You just tap it and just lightly bring it toward this one towards your heart, you feel the vibration through your whole body, so cool. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things too with Kevin and I are all big on energy and frequency. It's like a world, like last year, I think it was last year, but try this. So go downtown to a very, very like high city, like lights and all this downtown area, right? And say hi to people. Then go out go hiking and say hi to people. Big difference, huge difference. So I did a test, I went downtown, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? We went hiking, like I high-fived every single person. Hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Why? The frequency is totally different. It's completely different in nature. We open up in nature. We open up our hearts. Like recently I was going through a hard time, I just went and sat. We went and sat in the forest and just sat there. I was like, you might see on my Instagram, like, God, what do you want from me? Like that's what I do. I sit in silence, God says, be in silence with me, you're going to go pray. And so I just sat and I'm just like, what do you want from me? And you can come back, okay, here's some answers. And then that's where you find the answer, in that clearness, in that stillness. And that's what we're working to get through. That's what we're working to clear out is that forgiveness. And this may be a hard activity we do this afternoon, but if you don't have anything, just think about that. What is holding you back? Get back into that present moment, because I know it's cliche to say, but Kevin and I share a story all the time on our show. It's like, I talk about the experience of the two people in the car, right? There's two people sitting at a light, okay? So it's me and Kev sitting in the light, right? So Kev's in the right car, I'm right here, we're sitting there just looking, we're listening to our music, and he's in a totally different car than me, and then boom, somebody gets head on a motorcycle. Tragic accident. And I'm like, oh, holy shit. And I'm like, oh. And I start shaking, I see someone die, I'm like, oh my God, and I call my friends, I'm like, oh, and I get to work, I can't focus, I keep seeing the person dying over and over again, and all of a sudden I can't concentrate at work, my life starts to fall apart, my relationships start to fall apart, I start drinking to cope with it, and Kev's on the right-hand side, and he has a completely different experience. He's like, whoa, life is short. Thinks about that person's family, whoa, they just one instant were alive, cruising free on their motorcycle and died. And he starts living his life bungee jumping, skydiving, and honors that person. Two people saw the exact same thing and had a completely different experience. That's what we're experiencing in life. And every single person is doing the best they can with the limited resources that they have within that current moment. And so that's how I started to really express myself as I went on this journey of self-discovery. Because I lost a lot of friends, or so-called friends, right? Like, you've changed so much, JB. I'm like, thank God. Thank God. I remember I had a conversation with somebody, and they were screaming in my face, you're so different! You're so different! And I was like, yeah. Remember the guy 12 years ago was punching holes in walls? Going to doctors, put me on Depakote, they put me on depression medication, gave me Depakote because the depression medication wasn't working. Yeah, I'm different, thank God. Because that guy was looking for attention, and a little boy would punch holes in walls to get your attention. But now because I stand tall and be myself, you don't like that person? I'm sorry, you don't like that person. right? So it's just about evolving and growing, and so that's what the bowl, I went kind of off on the tangent about the bowls, but it's just all energy, and it's just vibration, and your frequency is so important. And that's why I talk about all aspects, and people call it chakras. Like Dr. Joe Dispenza calls them energy centers, because Dr. Joe Dispenza is remarkable. If you haven't followed him, because bringing religion and science together back in the days was so taboo. It was like, and Dr. Joe Dispenza was able to bring it together in understanding, like by changing the wording. It's energy center. You have everybody's energy centers in your body, right? Your spine is 33rd vertebrae, it goes up. You got your spinal fluid that goes up. It has these activities where you can run your spinal fluid up, meditate through it, and it's just like you can picture a protection over you. So there's all kinds of things you can do. But all right, so let's break, and then we're gonna have lunch at 11 here, right?
Real quick.
Yes.
I have a question. Is it okay if I ask a question?
Yes, of course. That's what we're here for. Yeah.
This is, I don't know if it's just me, but I did not expect this to be so emotional.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's what. I mean, thank you. I'll be honest. I was still telling them I was really nervous about presenting this part again. It was this, because the experience I went through. Because I know how much it changed my life, and I know how much it's changed people's life individually that we coach. But it's like to have a group together with so many different personalities, and everybody's going to have a different experience. So thank you for sharing your experience. And everybody will have a different experience. Some people might be like for example, someone might be like, this is complete bullshit. And then down the road, they'll go through an experience and like, oh, I now have the tool to get through this. That's why I went through this. That's why I went through my divorce. That's why I attempted suicide. That's why it wasn't exact. I hated banking, but now I know how to teach crypto because I understand economics. I hated banking. I was like, why was I in banking? I was like, how did I end up in banking? I can't do math. It doesn't make any sense, right? So I was following my true self. So sorry.
Oh, no, I just wanted to just kind of rein everybody in before we do go to lunch and just have you think about a couple of the things that we mentioned, right? He was like, does anybody want to share? So let's think about that for a hot second. It's like, did you want to share? Did you not want to share? What was another thing that we talked about? Fear. Was there any fear there? So again, we're bringing it all the way back to who are you? Are you trying to become something more, something different? Or are you just going to keep being the same? You got to apply this stuff. Sometimes it comes right away. It's like, oh, apply it. I learned it. Apply it. And you got to activate right away. It'd be those weird moments where it's like, no. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, just, hey, share. We all share on social media. You hear something, you see a funny post, you're like, oh, let me share this. Share. It's like, why does that button say share? Share. What does that mean? Right. Share. Like, yeah, share. We're all family here. We're all family here. Go ahead and share something. You know what I mean? Don't be fearful in the wrong state of mind. Change it. It's like, no, I want to attack that fear. I want to jump into this. Who am I? Who am I trying to become? Apply this stuff. So just think about the first couple of things that we talked about. John?
No, I just wanted to add, it was really interesting. I'm wondering if anybody felt the same thing, but as you were going around hitting the chakra balls, certain ones, I felt a resonance with me. I was like, wow, they felt really good, really comfortable, almost put me to sleep. And other ones kind of were irritating. So it was interesting how certain, I'm just wondering if anybody else felt that.
Yeah.
Yes.
There were some I was like, well, I wish he would keep just hitting that one, not the other one.
That's the same, John, that's the same thing that happens to me.
That's powerful. I'm glad you brought that up because some of them irritate me.
Yeah.
Like some of them irritate me, and I notice the one that keeps irritating me is the right here.
The deep one.
So
Yep, it's right because I'm having stomach ache and I can feel it when I do it. It makes me like, oh, what's going on? Because there's something going on here, right, that I'm not addressing, and it's not whatever I'm going on there, but it's something that I'm not emotionally addressing, which causes dis-ease.
So I'm wondering if that's the thing, is maybe on the ones that irritate us, are those the ones we need to work on, right? Maybe it helps highlight areas that were unstable in our...
Just see what, yeah, so we'll do it again this afternoon. We'll do it each night. And what you do is just listen or feel where it irritates you. That's what, so like my shaman, we just went through a shamanistic experience and it was really that's crazy. I had a freaking horrible experience. I was like, usually my shamanistic experience pretty well, and he was like, this guy, and if you ever saw our shaman is like, he doesn't look like a shaman. I mean, this guy is interesting. He like chain smokes, like, and he comes up to me and I'm having a horrible experience, horrible, in my whole body, I'm having anxiety, and I'm like, he's like, where do you feel it? And I'm like, everywhere. He's like, good. And I'm like, what does that mean? And my whole body, he was like, you got a lot of fucking work to do, man. He's like, why are you feeling it everywhere? He goes, and he kept asking me, why? I don't know. I want the answer. He's like, I'll be back. And I sat in it, and I realized that it was just what it was doing is I was shedding the old skin and moving into a new level of my life. It was like the caterpillar becoming just like, I'm shedding through this, and I got through it, and I'm like, man, I still have, it still messes me up. That was a tough experience I went through, and I'm like, okay. Like, it was just me shedding into that next level stuff, but he made me sit in it. I was like, okay, don't resist it. Don't try to reach out. Just sit in it and just become it and understand that it is you causing it, which is interesting. Now, there's outside sources, right? There's experiences we go through, and I'm not discounting experiences, just so you know, I want to be very clear about this. Experiences you've gone through are your experiences. I'm not discounting that somebody went through, like, me being molested. That's an experience. That's deep. I mean, that's what you went through. That's deep what you went through. I mean, thank you for sharing that, because I'm not discounting the experience. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, if the experience is no longer within our current reality, we have a choice on how we're going to react and move forward in our life from it. That's all it means. It's not that the experience isn't valid. It's not that, you know what my dad, pushed me through and all this stuff and this line he drew. It's all valid, because it all should be addressed and understood that it's very important in your life. But it's asking yourself, okay, how is it serving me now? How is it going to build generational wealth for my family? How am I going to get rid of this fear so I can move forward? So, I wanted to share something that Kev, I think I've shared this with you guys quite a bit, but then we'll break up and then I'll have you go. Kev did something to me recently that changed my life. It was like, we're sitting here, we're going through a bad experience, and I was like, I just kept talking. So I obviously had a fear of confronting people. Like, I was like, I've always been the nice guy, and it's almost got us out of business a couple times, actually, because I'm too nice, and so we're sitting there one day and I'm complaining to him, and I always say, the people you're complaining to, and so this is the saying, I say, the people you're complaining to can't help you, right? The people that can help you won't listen to you complain. So Kev said, and I'm bitching about this person, he goes like this, he's like, on the desk, like, fucking do something about it. And I'm like, fuck you then, I'm gonna do something. And I did, and I went crazy. I was like, come here, I need to talk to you, and you, and when it was like, he was like, stop. Like, actually do something about it. Stop talking about it, man. So I did, and it changed my life. It changed our business. It changed how we do business. Because I was like, I'm hurting a lot of people by just keeping my mouth shut. That fear thing that he talked about, like that fear you get, like try to work through it. Like, it's like, okay, I want to say something, but, and it doesn't mean you have to all speak. But what I'm saying is, if you feel that fear, like step into it. Oh, I'm going to do it. And it gets easier and easier. Not having difficult conversations. It's like butter now. It's like, okay, so you do that, let's talk, boom, let's talk about this, let's get it. So now what we do is we address stuff right away. We have an issue, it's like, Kev, let's talk. He has an issue with me, someone in our business, we have an issue, let's talk. If I have an issue with a partner, spouse, loved one, I'm just like, hey, let's talk right now. Like, let's get this done. And it helps you move forward. So this is all about releasing. So, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to go back, share a couple of things concerning the bowls. You can actually, YouTube has a lot of them. And you guys can do this at any time.
Oh.
They're really nice when you put your earphones
Yes.
and you kind of crank it up, and,
Yeah.
or if you want to mellow down. Those are really good. And also for nature, not like we're not too close to nature, like the trees and
Yeah.
all that. When I get really anxious and things are just not going
Yeah.
my way, I just take my shoes off and I go to my backyard,
Right.
grass, the earth. I mean, you put your mind to it and just ask, I need your energy, get me out of this, give me your energy, and it comes to you. It just puts you at a, normal level, and that really helps as well.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
It's Kevin been tripping out lately about it. We were on the live the other day, and he was talking about it. It was really weird. He said a tree.
Yeah.
All a tree does, and then I took it like to a dog, and he said all a tree does is become a tree. That's all it does. All a dog does is become a dog. All a cat does is become a cat. A cat isn't worried about being a dog. Maybe some chihuahuas try to be a pit bull, but it's like the chihuahua, let's pull out a chihuahuas, right? And so what we do as humans, we got blessed with what's called a thinking mind. They just have a subconscious, or animals have a subconscious mind. Children have a subconscious mind, and then we get this beautiful thing called a conscious mind, which traps most people. So we actually get to think. We actually get to make decisions, and it actually traps 99% of people. So think about that for just a moment. We actually have such a cool blessing versus a dog. That's why a dog will just sit there with you the whole time. It's like the dog is like thinking about being with you, and you're thinking about being at work, right? And the dog's like, hey, where are we going next? Okay, here we go. So it's like Jesus says, be like the children. That's what, when I did a TikTok, and it blew up, people were like, oh, I said, you want to be a millionaire? Be like the children. just be present in what is. So, all right, let's be present in what is. We're just gonna break. We eat lunch around 11, Chef?
Around that time.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
cool.
should be
So we got
back around
30
that time with it, and then
Sound
just
good?
prep.
Awesome.
So 11, 11:15.
Break.